Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. There will be a rollback in the price of petroleum products starting midnight tonight. But power distributor Meralco is set to increase its electricity rate this month. Here's why from Rangel Adora.
Meralco customers may expect a 3 centavo increase in their electric bill this month due to an increase in generation charges. This means an ordinary household that consumed 200 kilowatt-hour will have a 6.91 peso increase in their October billing. Meanwhile, more than 10 peso increase will be expected for those who consume 300 kilowatt-hour monthly, 13.81 pesos for every 400 kilowatt-hour per month, and 17.27 peso increase for 500 kilowatt-hour monthly consumption. But according to the power company, no further big adjustments in power charges in the succeeding Burr months due to lower demand.
Halos yung movement is very slight, despite the fact that we've had instances of yellow alerts and unscheduled plant outages as well. No?
Amid the increase in power charges, consumers are left with no choice but to conserve electricity. For Lizelle, who pays around 1,400 pesos for her family's monthly electric consumption, the advent of Burr months is a big help for them to save electricity.
Hindi kami masyadong nag-electric fan. Tapos minsan kapag Burr months, mas maganda nakapatay yung ilaw kasi mas nararamdaman may lamig.
Meanwhile, there will be a price rollback on petroleum products beginning midnight. COL agreed to reduce its price of diesel by 40 centavos, 50 centavos on per liter of gasoline, and 85 centavos on per liter of kerosene. Meanwhile, at 6 a.m. tomorrow, Phoenix Petroleum, PTT Philippines, Total, and Eastern Petroleum will follow through with their respective price rollback. Rajal Adora, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Consumers may enjoy purchasing cheap and quality products from the Department of Trade and Industry's Descuento Caravan. Here's why from Leslie Longbowen.
Discount ranging from 5 to 50% per item may be availed on prime commodities such as food products, as well as on other certified products such as appliances and other devices at the Department of Trade and Industry's Descuento Caravan, which officially opens today.
Ang ine-emphasize dito natin o binibigyan din natin dito yung product safety and quality na kinakailangan na maging vigilante o very active yung ating mga consumers sa pagtingin kung ang kanilang mga binibiling produkto ay umaayon sa standards.
Pretty Joy Macapagal enjoyed buying discounted products. She was able to save almost 8,000 from the 2 pairs of Marikina-made shoes she bought for herself and her husband.
Maganda bumili sa mga ganito kasi nakaka-discount ng malaki. Katulad nito, 50% off yung shoes. Tsaka napakamaganda yung quality ng shoes nila. Kaya mas preferred ko dito kaysa dun sa mahal tapos hindi naman maganda yung quality.
Meanwhile, DTI reminds consumers to check the quality of the product before purchasing it. Products that are locally made should have Philippine Standard or PS mark, while imported items should have Import Commodity Clearance or ICC mark. To make sure that the sticker or mark is original and not fake, one may call the DTI call center at 751-3330 and give the product's control number. Descuento Caravan is open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. until Friday, October 13 in front of the UPRC building along Hilpuyat Avenue, Makati City. The caravan will open in various areas of the Philippines throughout October alongside the Consumer Welfare Month celebration. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
A workers' union is pushing for a government subsidy of 500 pesos for minimum wage earners. Here's why from Ray Pelayo.
The Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, or TOCP, has filed last September 26 the House Bill number 6474, which seeks to provide a Labor Empowerment Assistance Program, or LEAP. The bill includes a 500 monthly subsidy to around 4 million minimum wage earners who are also members of the Social Security system. The said amount is specifically intended for workers, food, and basic services. The Associated Labor Union's TOCP says such proposal is timely because the prices of basic commodities are constantly increasing.
Hindi po siya cash, so it's a voucher. So hindi yan pwedeng pambili ng alak o sigarilyo.
The group also urges President Rodrigo Duterte to mark the bill as priority or likely issue an executive order. Labor groups mentioned the proposal last Labor Day. It will cost the government 2 billion pesos monthly once the proposal is approved for execution.
Ang initial na reaksyon niya, may funds available. Pwedeng kunin ito dun sa CCT program o sa mga nalalabing mga savings ng mga government agencies.
For some minimum wage earners, the subsidy will somehow make their daily spending lighter.
Malaking tulong po yun sa amin. Dagdag po yun sa pangangailangan po namin.
Nagbabaon po ako ng kanin para mas makakatipid.
ALU TOCP said a family of 5 can live in decency with a budget of 1,200 pesos a day. The minimum wage now amounts to 512 pesos after the wage board implemented the 21 pesos wage increase last week. Ray Pilayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte approves the purchase of the Philippine Postal Savings Bank by the Land Bank of the Philippines. Through Executive Order Number 44, the Philippine Postal Savings Bank will become an Overseas Filipino Bank that would provide aid to OFWs. The Overseas Filipino Bank will be composed of 9 board of directors. The creation of a bank for overseas Filipino workers is one of the promises made by President Duterte. And in other news, the trust and satisfaction rating of President Rodrigo Duterte for September has dropped according to the survey of social weather stations. The Malacañang says such decline in the president's rating is very much expected. Here's why from Rosalie Cox.
The net satisfaction rating of President Duterte dropped by 18 points based on the latest survey of social weather stations. From 66% in June, it dropped to 48% this September. The net trust rating of the president also decreased by 15 points from 75% in June to 60% or very good net trust rating. This means fewer Filipinos trust and are satisfied with the leadership of the chief executive. But Malacañang says the result of the survey is expected since the past administrations also had this. However, the public ratings of President Duterte is still high.
Traditionally happening after a year or year and a half, and the love is still there.
Popularity is also not the concern of the president, but he dwells on keeping his campaign promises such as resolving corruption, criminality, and illegal drugs in the country.
Basically, the major factor is the people are still expecting that rise in that economic shift that will put more food on the table. It's basically a matter of expectation.
Malacañang reiterated that the Duterte administration listens to the sentiments of the public. Meanwhile, Presidential Chief Legal Counsel Attorney Salvador Panelo believes the killings of some teenagers such as Kian de los Santos and Carl Arnaiz by abusive policemen have effects on the SWS survey ratings. President Duterte will make sure these policemen shall answer for their crimes. But Panelo said the president won't be perturbed with the surveys and he will continue his war on drugs. Rosalie Coz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacañang.
The government's critics say the drop in the approval and trust ratings of President Rodrigo Duterte serves as a wake-up call for the administration to change or study its existing policies, particularly its war on drugs. Here's why from Nel Maribuho.
The Senate minority bloc calls on the Duterte administration to change its strategies, particularly on its brutal war on drugs. According to some Liberal Party or LP senators, the approval and trust ratings of the president might further plunge if the government continues to pursue its strategy, particularly on its brutal war on drugs.
Sana wake-up call na po ito na baguhin na yung ating war on drugs, baguhin yung mga strategy dyan at itigil na po yung patayan sa ating mga kalsada.
Statistically significant po yan at nagpapakita ng damage sa reputasyon ni Presidente.
Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon says that aside on the public's trust to the President, the war on drugs also affects the country's economy.
Isa pa, kung titingnan natin yung bagsak ng investment sa ating bansa, 90% Ito po'y reflection din ng confidence ng investors sa ating bansa.
Meanwhile, Senator Panfilo Lacson believes the drop in the ratings of the president is due to the involvement of cops in the killing of Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa. But for Senate Majority Leader Vicente Soto III, it's too early to judge the performance of the president.
Tingnan niyo muna saan nagpunta. Kung undecided nagpunta, it's not even a cause for alarm. It really happens. Baka naman hindi importante sa presidente yung survey o yung rating niya eh. Basta importante is gawin niya yung trabaho niya.
Some lawmakers, meanwhile, shrug off the drop in the ratings of the president.
The surveys are just numbers, no? The president is very much focused on his programs.
No, if you compare his results in the same time period, in the same quarters of the almost, kumbaga, second year of office, comparatively, he's doing very well.
Vice President Leni Robredo, meanwhile, refuses to comment on the result of the latest social weather station survey.
Budget na lang muna. Sorry.
Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Commissioner Isidro La Peña offered 38 employees of the Bureau of Customs, or BOC, sacked in relation to the agency's anti-corruption campaign. Joe Anano tells us why.
Bureau of Customs or BOC Commissioner Isidro La Peña fires 8 district collectors of the agency for failing to follow his orders to stop corruption and the benchmarking within the ports they were overseeing. Among those sacked include the district collectors of the ports of Cebu, San Fernando, Limay, Iloilo, Subic, Legazpi, Zamboanga, and Apari. Also relieved were 30 section chiefs of the Formal Entry Division of the Port of Manila and Manila International Container Port and were transferred to various provincial collection district of the agency.
Yung pag hindi na-hit ang target, halimbawa mababa masyado, then that's one reason for the relief. And then pag nakita ko doon sa computer data, that's another reason for the relief. Pag they continue to practice benchmarking. Because my guidance is correct valuation.
The vacant positions will be filled in by the personnel selected by La Peña from the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA. They will be in charge of the supervision of the Account Management Office, Import Assessment Services, and Administration Office of the BOC. Meanwhile, during the flag raising earlier, the BOC chief led the oath-taking of 560 promoted employees of BOC. In his speech, La Peña urges the employees to further improve their performance and to not use their position for personal interests.
No more tara, no take, no gift, no pasalubong, and we go by the correct valuation of the content of the shipment.
La Peña also plans to hire more employees to hasten the services the BOC provides. There are currently more than 3,000 positions vacant in the BOC. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Office of the President sacks Jose Vicente Salazar as the chairman of the Energy Regulatory Commission, or ERC. The palace says Salazar was found guilty in a simple and grave misconduct case over the corruption charges filed against him. The complaint stemmed from his alleged manipulation of the bidding process and a threatening of several ERC commissioners and officers in connection with the investigation being conducted on him. Salazar is also the one named by former ERC Director Francisco Jose Villa Jr., who pressured him to approve several questionable contracts and to hire consultants without undergoing proper process. President Rodrigo Duterte sacks a former National Capital Region Police Chief Joel Pagdilao and former Quezon City Police District Director Edgardo Tino. Monokson tells us why.
Executive Secretary Salvador Mejaldea had already signed last week the dismissal order for former National Capital Region Police or NCRPO Chief Joel Pagdilao and former Quezon City Police District or QCPD Director Edgardo Tino. Malacañang says the two high-ranking officials of the Philippine National Police or PNP were sacked for being administratively liable due to serious neglect of duty and serious irregularity in the performance of their duties. The two generals allegedly failed to properly perform their functions. The palace claims Pagdilao and Tino's neglect in performing of their duties well resulted into the proliferation of illegal drugs in the areas of their responsibility. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella says they have yet to know if the two will face criminal charges.
We cannot speculate on what the next steps of the president, but I'm sure that he, knowing this, he has again and again said that this is an apparatus, and that these are interlinked with other with other personalities.
Abella remains mum on whether other high-ranking PNP officials will also suffer the same fate. He also refuses to confirm if Pagdilao and Tino are involved in the illegal drug trade.
Up to this stage, all information that we have been supplied has been that the keywords are deliberately refused to perform their duties. In other words, neglect by default.
Pagdilao and Tino are included in the NARCO list of President Rodrigo Duterte, which contains the names of personalities allegedly involved in the illegal drug trade. The other alleged narco generals Mr. Duterte named were retired Deputy Director General Marcelo Garbo, retired Chief Superintendent Vicente Loot, and former Western Visayas Police Director Bernardo Diaz. Mon Hocson, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The composition of an overseas Filipino worker wins in the second weekly eliminations round for the month of October in the A Song of Praise or ASOP Year 6. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
Ang ganda nung melodic lines na parang ganun. Tapos nag-build up, you know, in just declaring the song na sana Lord, no, this gives you joy.
Makalugod Sa'yo, composer Raymar Cascara.
No doubt the song Makalugod Sa'yo is now part of the October monthly finals of the A Song of Praise or ASOP Year 6. All three judges expressed positive comments on the song.
What can I say? Song to beat.
Hindi rin ako nahirapang intindihin tong kantang ito at pati yung phrasing niya, maayos na maayos.
The entry won in the second weekly finals held yesterday. This is the first time the song's composer Raymar Cascara joined ASOP. Cascara is an overseas Filipino worker based in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, the entry's interpreter William Poderes says he can relate to the song.
Yung song, habang kinakanta ko siya, talagang damang-dama ko eh. Kumbaga parang ako talaga yung kumanta. It's for me, parang gano'n. Kaya I'm so happy na ako yung nag-interpret ng song.
The song Makalugod Sa'yo defeated other entries like Dahil Ikaw Ang Aking Diyos, composed by Lino Lito Cajegas Jr. of Davao City, and Picture of Grace, composed by Irvin Galang of Sampaloc, Manila.
Kaya't ang nais ko'y awitan ka, purihin ka, mga kabutihan mo'y ipakilala.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Next on Y News. An international network of advocates cautioned the Philippine government to stop drug-related killings and human rights violations in the country.
The camp of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno insists that President Rodrigo Duterte, as a special prosecutor in the impeachment case, is unconstitutional.
And the Philippines says sorry to China for the recent Taiwan logo blunder.
Y News will be right back. The Department of National Defense, or DND, apologizes to China after it mistakenly displayed the logo of Taiwan during the turnover ceremony of the Chinese government's donations of millions of pesos worth of firearms and ammunitions to the armed forces of the Philippines. DND Secretary Delphine Lorenzana says the Philippine government sent an official apology letter to the government of China and to its citizens. Lorenzana hopes that the said mishap won't affect the improving relationship between Manila and Beijing. Philippine government officials and even the other attendees did not notice the wrong logo displayed during the turnover ceremony. Instead, the mishap went viral and was heavily criticized on social media. The said turnover ceremony was led by Secretary Lorenzana and Chinese Ambassador to the Philippines, Zhao Jinhua. The Philippines lacks strict laws which results into the easy entry of terrorists in the country. Leia Ilagan tells us why.
Country enjoys so much democratic space that is being exploited by terror groups and also criminal groups.
Alam mo naman natin na national ID system pa lang, which is a very crucial measure to address terrorism, hindi makapasa-pasa sa ating legislature.
Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff General Eduardo Año and Philippine National Police Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa say such has been the reason why individuals like orthopedic surgeon Russell Ali can easily move in the country. Salik is among the 3 suspects that the U.S. accused of allegedly plotting to attack New York City. He was also being linked to the beheading of 2 sawmill workers in Lanao del Sur. Año and De La Rosa also note that the country's law on terrorism is ineffectual. Unlike in Singapore, the United States, Malaysia, and Australia, where a suspected terrorist can be detained for up to 3 years until he or she is proven to be involved in a terror group.
May mga special provisions sila kung na pwede nilang i-arrest ang isang tao by mere of suspicions based on information, and there is a special court that would hear the case, and they do not even have to file charges immediately.
Because of this, the 2 officials are calling on the lawmakers to amend the Philippines Human Security Act.
We believe that is not enough to address the threats against terrorism.
According to General Año, the military's investigation on Salik is ongoing. They are still looking into his possible ties with the Mauti group and where the huge amount of money sent to various terror groups in different countries came from.
Continuous pa rin yung investigation at saka debriefing kay Salik. May mga information siyang ni-reveal during the interrogation, but we cannot share it or disclose it to public.
Russell Malik surrendered to the National Bureau of Investigation in April after learning that he had a standing arrest warrant. Leia Ilagan, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Aguinaldo.
An international network of advocates calls for a stop in the killings in the Philippines and human rights violations allegedly committed by the Duterte administration. Victor Cosare tells us why.
Stop the killings and stop silencing dissent. This has been the call of a mission of international parliamentarians and civil society leaders who visited the country to observe the human rights condition of the Philippines. The mission includes members of some non-governmental organization or NGOs from Germany, Sweden, Italy, United States, and Australia who condemned the Duterte administration's war on drugs. The NGOs insist the Philippine government should put a stop in its drug war following the deaths of several minors, further noting the usual victims of such a campaign are the poor. However, the deputy of the Party of European Socialists, or PAS, explains they are not meddling in the manner Mr. Duterte leads the Philippines.
We do not wish to interfere in the decision-making processes of a legitimate, democratically elected government. The reason why we are here is because we know that there is no law that allows the killings of thousands of people.
The NGOs also condemn what they claim as the Duterte administration's political persecution of its critics.
Democracy lives from contradiction, from fight on public opinion, but does not live from killing. Democracy lives through dissent, because dissent is the essence of democracy.
Due to the rising number of human rights violations in the country, the civil society groups are worried the Philippines might lose its special trading deal with the European Union or EU.
This GSP Plus situation is not being kept up, so that means that the trading relations will suffer. In particular, if you look at agriculture products.
They also call on the government to allow the UN Human Rights Council to conduct its own investigation into what they describe as unreasonable debts and thus properly resolve the country's problem on illegal drugs. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
PNP Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa said that the past administration is changing the definition of extrajudicial killing to bring down the current administration. Monokson will tell us why.
PNP Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa is doubting why the definition of extrajudicial killings has changed, while all the killings before are labeled as murder and homicide. PNP Chief Ronald de la Rosa said there is zero case of extrajudicial killings in the country because there is no state-sponsored killings. De la Rosa added that the critics of the president is using the term EJK to bring down the campaign of the administration against illegal drugs. It is also possible that these critics are affected directly by the war on drugs of the government.
There's no EJK. Totoo naman talaga kung basehan natin yung definition ng EJK. Mahirap naman doon, itong mga kritiko natin, sa panahon nila sila ang gumawa ng definition ng EJK na yan. Ngayon na hindi na sila sa power, iba na yung nakaupo ngayon, gusto nilang baguhin yung meaning ng EJK. Klaro naman yun, sinabi. Kaya nga, kaya nasabihin nila na propaganda ng PNP yung EJK, yung sabi na walang EJK, hindi po kami nagpropaganda. Bakit ba? Kung balik ko sa kanilang tanong, yung paglabel ng killing na as EJK, hindi ba yung propaganda? That's also their propaganda.
De la Rosa said they are not hiding results of police operations, especially now that the PNP is freely giving evidence and information to the media and the public who wants to access police reports. Things that prove that there is no EJK in the country. In fact, the PNP Internal Affairs Service has given directive to conduct special inspection on homicide cases, and this includes auditing of police officials' performance. In an interview with PNP ES Chief Attorney Alfegar Triambulo, all PNP officials who will be inefficient and ineffective in their investigation will be relieved from service.
So, pag hindi effective and efficient nung mga ating mga commanders, nung ating mga kapulisan, kami po ay mag-recommend kay PNP na i-relieve for ineffective and inefficient.
The PNP is respecting the newest survey regarding the trust rating of the president. In fact, the PNP asked for understanding if the public is not satisfied with the service of the police. De la Rosa said that they are just doing their job and that they cannot please everybody in their duty that is mandated by the law. Mon Hokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
Malacañang believes President Rodrigo Duterte's war on drugs will not result to economic sanctions. This after the Human Rights Watch, a human rights watchdog, said the bilateral relations of the Philippines with other countries will be affected if the government will not act to stop drug-related killings in the country. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella says all countries with strong trade relations with the Philippines definitely understand and respect its sovereignty.
These countries continue to treat us with mutual respect and cognizant of our sovereignty, and they continue to support us in dealing with our domestic challenges and in achieving our national goals without undue interference.
Meanwhile, the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability will recommend the filing of plunder charges against Ilocos Norte Governor IMEE Marcos. Here's why from Grace Casin.
Governor IMEE Marcos might face plunder charges for allegedly anomalous use of the tobacco excise tax fund of the province for the purchase of overpriced vehicles, fertilizers, and medicine, which the House Committee notes did not all undergo proper bidding. The charges will also include Marcos' questionable construction of a museum and statue.
Meron pong isang transaction na naman nakita kami, purchase of fertilizer in the amount of 56 million pesos. Again, without the conduct of public bidding, and pasok na po ito sa plunder, which is more than... In fact, even this present hearing that we are conducting with regards to the multi-cabs, that is 66 million pesos. And we might consider in the committee report filing a plunder case.
Meanwhile, House Committee also cited in contempt businessman Mark Chua for his failure to attend the congressional inquiry on the issue, despite several invitations sent to him by the lawmakers. Chua is the alleged romantic partner of IMEE Marcos and the one who served as middleman in the purchase of 100 multi-cabs. Lawmakers also cited in contempt other personalities linked on the illegal transactions in Ilocos Norte. Governor IMEE Marcos, on the other hand, stands firm that all projects and programs she implemented underwent proper process and that it benefited the province of Ilocos Norte.
Nakakagulat naman na pre-judge na nga itong hearing na to. Maliwanag na talagang fully liquidated ang bawat isa sa mga amounts na tinutukoy, kung fertilizer man, kung vehicles man.
The House Committee investigated the said issue involving IMEE Marcos for 5 months. It was Ilocos Norte Congressman Rudy Fariñas who filed a resolution to probe the alleged anomalous transactions. Grace Casen, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The lawyers of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno believe President Rodrigo Duterte cannot act as a special prosecutor in the impeachment case. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The proposal of Attorney Larry Gadon to tap President Rodrigo Duterte as a special prosecutor in the impeachment case of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno is unconstitutional. Sereno's lawyers explain the lower house of Congress has the exclusive power to prosecute an impeachment case and the President should not encroach with it.
Ang Pangulo ay sa ilalim ng ating konstitusyon walang papel sa ganitong ehersisyo, political exercise.
They say it remains contrary to the Constitution even if the President will do it in his personal capacity as a lawyer.
Mayroong isang probisyon na nagbabawal sa Pangulo na mag-practice ng anumang propesyon sa kanyang panunungkulan.
Even the Malacañang Palace opposes the plan to involve the President in Sereno's impeachment. Presidential Chief Legal Counsel Salvador Panelos says Gadon's proposal is nonsense.
Ay, hindi naman niya siguro papatulan yan. No? Bakit? Hindi naman. Iba ang trabaho niya eh.
Sereno's camp has no problem with the Senate preparing for the impeachment trial this early. Senate President Aquilino Pimentel III has said they are now revising the rules on impeachment trial.
It's just a plan that's being set in motion as a preparation. So I think that's good leadership on the part of Senator Pimentel.
They say this doesn't mean the impeachment complaint will surely be transmitted to the Senate. Meanwhile, House Majority Floor Leader Rodolfo Fariñas blasted Sereno's lawyers for bringing their concerns before the media.
Bakit sa media nila tinatry yung case nila? They should tell it to the committee kasi they've entered their appearance there. Contemptuous din yan eh. To be saying we appeal to the media, so are they applying public pressure on us?
Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Meanwhile, a lawmaker believes the overall debt of the Philippines might balloon if legislature fails to pass the House of Representatives' version of the proposed tax reform package. According to House Committee on Appropriations Chairman Coco Nograles, they have based the 2018 expenditures of the country on the government's tax collection target. Nograles explains lowering their proposed tax collection target will affect the country's spending. It can be noted that in the version of the Senate's tax reform package passed in the committee level, the government will target to collect 59.9 billion pesos only for next year. While in the lower house's version, the tax collection target is at 133.8 billion pesos.
If the tax reform package does not yield the desired income, which was supposedly, based on our projections, 133.8 billion, we will be forced to increase our debt.
And in other news, 19,000 policemen will be deployed in various areas in Metro Manila for the upcoming Association of Southeast Asian or ASEAN Leaders Summit in November. Rajela Dora will tell us why.
Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA considers the Association of Southeast Asian or ASEAN Leaders Summit as the biggest meeting to be hosted by the Philippines this year's ASEAN chairman. The summit will run from the 13th to the 15th of November. According to the DFA, one of the topics that would be discussed in the meeting is the creation of a code of conduct in the West Philippine Sea to ease the tension among the countries claiming sovereignty over the said body of water. Malacañang also confirms United States President Donald Trump will also attend the meeting. The Prime Ministers of Japan, Australia, and Canada will also attend, as well as the Foreign Minister of China. United Nations or UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is also expected to participate in the summit to discuss the role of the regional bloc in the global fight against terrorism. The Philippine National Police or PNP continues to prepare for the meeting in November. About 19,000 policemen are to be deployed in Metro Manila and other areas across Luzon. The biggest number of cops will be assigned to the Civil Disturbance Management Unit as to prepare for possible protests. Authorities will also monitor the Clark City in Pampanga as the delegates are expected to land there. The world leaders who will attend the summit are expected to start arriving in the Philippines on the 8th of November. Authorities will also conduct a series of dry runs on areas the convoy of delegates will pass through, like Esitex, NLEX, EDSA, and Rojas Boulevard. They will also implement a stop-and-go scheme every time a delegate will pass by. The public is advised to expect more convoy dry runs in the coming days. Rajela Dora, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
And the Public Attorney's Office presented a new witness at the start of the preliminary investigation on the death of Carl Angelo Arnaiz and Reynaldo Culot de Guzman. Roderick Mendoza tells us why.
The Department of Justice today started the preliminary investigation on the death of Carl Arnaiz and Reynaldo de Guzman alias Culot. PO1 Jeffrey Perez and PO1 Ricky Arquelita, who allegedly killed Arnaiz, attended the hearing, as well as taxi driver Tomas Bagcal, whom the teenager has allegedly robbed. They are facing complaints for double murder, torture, and planting of evidence. The Public Attorney's Office presented Joel Cruz as a new witness. He is the embalmer who attended to the body of Arnaiz. His testimony will support the statement of another witness that the victim was killed at around 1:30 in the morning of August 18.
Yung kanyang testimony ay nagja-jibe sa forensic analysis namin doon sa time of death, probable time of death nitong si Carl.
Meanwhile, Bagcal's hope on becoming a witness in the case remains vague. Acosta says it is hard to believe Bagcal's narration that Arnaiz robbed him and was killed after a shootout with the responding policeman.
Hanggang tinitindigan niya na hold-upper si Carl, ay napakahirap naman siyang gawing state witness.
The preliminary investigation will resume on October 19 and the respondents are expected to submit their counter affidavits. The DOJ panel warns this is the last chance of the policeman and Bagcal to answer the allegations. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Department of Justice.
The government task force assigned to investigate the explosion of a water tank in the village of Muzon in San Jose del Monte, Bulacan last Friday morning begins gathering information and evidence in connection with the incident. Abby Santa Ines tells us why.
Members of the task force and several personnel of the San Jose del Monte Water District conducted an inspection in the area where the water tank exploded. The City Engineering Office also took samples of the materials used in the water tank to examine if they passed the standards.
Of course, yung task force talaga, ang trabaho nito ay alamin kung bakit nangyari, ano ang nangyari, at alamin din kung sino ang may kasalanan, alamin kung paano iayos if ever na merong problema.
The post-blast investigating unit of the Philippine Army also investigates the incident. It conducts forensic tests from the debris of the exploded tank. Authorities will determine if any form of explosive device were used on the tank. According to Mayor Arthur Robes, the Australian consultant of the water district and the designer of the tank will arrive to also look into the incident. Meanwhile, the City Council is set to pass a resolution to create a committee that will examine or determine the amount the local government has to provide to the residents affected by the tank explosion. As of now, the local government of Bulacan has already provided initial aid to the families of the 4 fatalities in the incident. The families are still waiting for the assistance from the management of the water district that vows to pay for the hospital and burial expenses of the casualties. Abby Santaines, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Most parts of the country will be rainy tomorrow. Tell us why, Leslie.
Yes, Darlene, prepare your rain gears tomorrow because a low-pressure area is affecting the country's weather. The LPA was estimated at 75 kilometers east of Casiguran, Aurora. Due to the LPA, we are expecting cloudy skies with light to moderate rains with thunderstorms to prevail over Metro Manila, the rest of Luzon, Visayas, and the provinces of Dinagat Islands and Surigao del Norte. Meanwhile, the rest of Mindanao will experience partly cloudy to cloudy skies apart from isolated rain showers mostly in the afternoon or evening. According to Pag-asa, temperature in Metro Manila will range from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. Baguio City will experience a temperature of 17 to 23 degrees Celsius. In Metro Cebu, temperature will vary from 24 to 32 degrees Celsius, while Metro Davao will have a temperature of 25 to 33 degrees Celsius. Tomorrow, the sun will rise at 5:47 in the morning. That's our weather forecast. Back to you, Darlene.
Thank you, Leslie Longbowen, reporting from the UNTV Weather Center. The NHA Builders demolished 2-time champions Judiciary Magis on Sunday's UNTV Cup eliminations. Bernard Dadis will tell us why.
The UNTV Cup crowd was thrilled by an exciting triple-header on Sunday at the Pasig City Sports Center. Malacañang PSC Camao knocked out the DOJ Justice Boosters in the first game 91-75. The Camao score leaders were Eric De La Cuesta with 20 points and Ian Garrido with 16 points, while Eric Mabasa led the Justice Boosters with 24 points worth of buckets. Camao now has a 2-0 win-loss record and the DOJ Justice Boosters 1-1. In the second game, the NHA Builders demolished 2-time champions Judiciary Magis in an intense neck-and-neck hardcourt battle, 95-87.
Actually, sabi ko, hindi tayo magnanalo kung kanya-kanya. Kasi pag kanya-kanya tayo, mas often tayo mag-errors. So it's more on team effort kami ngayon. At yung puso nila, hindi sila bumigay.
Coach Joey Yabut's side, on the other hand, admits they faced quite a great challenge.
Unang-una, naging problema namin yung depensa, yung tao-tao kasi nakakalusot sila. Tsaka yung transition offense nila, medyo doon kami nahirapan yung takbuhan sa kanila.
Antonio Lustestica Jr., who made 25 points, and John Derek Dizon with 18 points were hailed as the best players of the game. And in the main game, the Senate defenders gave the BFE Firefighters their second loss in this season. The defenders' highest scorer was Marlon Legaspi with 23 points, while playing coach Gilbert Malabanan led the Firefighters with 22 points. Bernard Dadis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Coming up on Y News. Australia faces one of its worst flu seasons as death toll mounts to more than 300 and infections to more than 160,000 people.
The world's first smart police station opens in Dubai.
Wish Covery's Wishful 16 advanced to the next round of Wish 107.5's search for the newest online singing sensation.
More from Y News after this break.
Wishers have more time to support their Wishcovery bets as the Wishful 16 advance to the next round of Wish 107.5's talent search. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
Last Saturday, the Wishful 16 who will advance to the next round of the competition were completed. Wishers have more time to support their bets because the Wishful's performances will be uploaded every Sunday at 9 p.m. So wishers may now view the performances of the first batch of Wishful 16 on the first YouTube channel of Wish 107.5.
Definitely, yung performance nila this time for the second round, siguradong improve na to at siguradong i-consider nila bawat tips sa kanila ng ating resident reactors.
Last Saturday, the first phase of assessment was completed by the competition's resident reactors. The last batch of Wishfuls include Jenny May Mabini of Laguna.
Actually, fan ako ng boses nitong batang to eh. Kaya I felt na too early in the song, laro kagad. So parang tuloy, pagdating sa dulo, normal na lang yung laro.
John Harvey Magos of Rizal.
Kailangan kita ngayon at kailanman.
I'm pleasantly surprised that you did sing a totally different song and I saw another side of your singing.
Louie Ann Kulala of Bulacan.
Sana'y nakinig na lang ako sa nanay ko, di mo lang alam ako yung nasaktan.
It's very different sounding. Gusto ko yung charisma mo, you know. It wasn't boring to watch, kaya...
Princess Sevillena of Makati City.
Bukas na lang kita. Bukas na lang kita.
And Vian King of Quezon Province.
Hanggang may pag-ibig, laging isisigaw, tanging ikaw.
Based on their final scores from the YouTube views and comments of resident reactors, Vian failed to be part of the Wishful 16. Still, he is thankful for his Wishcovery experience.
Iba talaga yung feeling kapag nandito ka sa Wish Bus. Sobrang nakaka-overwhelm, nakaka-fulfilling yung experience kasi minsan lang mangyari to kaya masaya, sobrang blessed yung feeling.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Those are the reasons behind the news, October 9, 2017. I am Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Y News.